Looks like we're good. All right, here we go. This is from Gilmore to Gila, or Gila, if you want to go that far, girls. And I said, oops. Does anyone else find it? Does anybody else find what is popularized by media to be more than just a little interesting, not to mention telling of things to come? Or at the very least, an insight into the nature of that which promotes it? When you look up Gilmore Girls, it's described as self-reliant single mother and fiercely independent single mom Lorelai raises gifted Ivy League bound daughter. What's the Saturn cult family destroying message here once again? It's that single mothers are far better off without the husband father, and by extension, so too is the child or children. The male is removed, his role deleted, downplayed, mocked, disrespected, and ignored. The male is the protector, the first line of defense against physical harm, mental manipulation, abduction, poor choices, and he acts as the voice of reason that cuts through emotionally charged storm clouds of feminine thought processes. Removing him creates a vulnerability for the wicked to exploit and manipulate. Societal weakness occurs when roles are confused or altogether ejected from the natural balanced equation. Feminism is a weapon wielded by a subversive cult that hates all that makes you strong and operates tirelessly to erode and break the familial bonds that create self-reliant and healthy civilizations. Have you seen the level of wasting away that so-called celebrities are displaying without any discernible concern for their own health and well-being? It's almost as if they're turning the effects of starvation into a pop culture fad. They're training the population to accept the horrible results of malnourishment by cramming it through the lens of aesthetic appeal. Why do you think they, the neo-Bolsheviks, would want to normalize such a gaunt and horrifying look? They wouldn't happen to have a long history of starving millions of people to death, almost as a hallmark or signature of their presence and handiwork, would they? And that is Kelly Osbourne. And that's also Kelly Osbourne. That's Kelly Osbourne. That's also Kelly Osbourne. Look at this. Look at the shoulder here. This is muscle deterioration based on due to malnourishment. Just being a little big in the cheeks. She had a smile that looked sincere, or at least healthy. And look at her mother. We have two crypt keepers here. I mean, apparently the daughter that rarely was ever seen on the show is also taking this crap, the semaglutide injection, known by its brand name Ozempic. And the P and the C have a funny little thing there in the center that looks like a nail in the coffin. Certainly not the Saturn cult. Certainly not the serpent cult of the pre-Sumerian histories. Nah, couldn't have been this, guys. And just, whoops, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to go this way. All right, so just so you guys know, the Buy Me Coffee Ball Busters here. If you want to use it, you can. It is right there. Paste. Sound effects included. There you go. Now, I have got a whole bunch of Instagram stuff that we were about to explore yesterday. Everything was fine. They were just playing. They were playing with a ball, and I heard a bunch of banging in the other room, so I thought something was up. Everything's distorted through the headphones. And when I yelled, "Is everything all right?" I didn't hear anything, so I went and looked. So anyway, everything was fine. The Wall Street Journal. I can't talk. The Wall Street Journal. Monster diet drugs like Ozempic started with actual monsters. Studies of Gila monsters And anglerfish laid the groundwork for today's blockbusters. Let's have a look at an anglerfish. Isn't that pretty? That's one of those deep ocean creatures that, like every other asshole, uses a shiny little lure in front of its vicious teeth to attract defenseless prey, and then it, yeah. Isn't that something? Oh, that's pretty. They got a little goat beard on some of them. Blobfish. That's the thing that we were looking at before. That thing's disgusting, right? I was making a joke that it's just the tip. Let's see what we got for images here. Look at that thing. The Black Sea Devil, the creepiest fish in the ocean. Well, I don't overstate that. There's plenty of creepy things in the sea. All right, so they're gonna make me do that. All right. Well, anyway, before there was Ozempic or Monjaro, there were fish guts and Gila monsters, the blockbuster diabetes drug that have drugs that have revolutionized obesity, revolutionizing obesity. That's the poor outcome in end result. Should it revolutionize weight loss, not obesity? Seems like it's contributing to that when you say it that way. Obesity treatment seemed to have come out of nowhere, turning the diet industry upside down. Well, that if it was inverted, it would almost be getting closer to the truth, but whatever. In just the past year. But they didn't arrive suddenly. They are the unlikely result of two separate bodies of science that date back decades and began with a study of two unsightly creatures. All right, well, that's all we get from them. Let's see. I've got a bunch of them up here. I don't think I need that one anymore. The rise of Ozempic, how surprise discoveries and lizard venom led to a new class of weight loss drugs. Hold on a second, what do we got going on here? Lots of people yapping. Happy Monday, Daniel, says Karen. Zinger and hot coffee. I think he's probably talking about it separately, Karen. One of my favorite fish, anglerfish, or fish are way cool, he says. And then, yeah, okay, so we're up to date there. The rise of Ozempic, how surprise discoveries and lizard venom led to the new class of weight loss drugs. This is just that Asclepius crap again. And it's a continuing theme of the priestcraft with roots in what was once known as the serpent cult, the totem for those who used adder's venom or snake venom in drugs, like the burning purple that Ammon Hillman talks about, and for poisons and poison arrows, right? So if they just graze you with it, you go cuckoo. Hundreds of thousands of people worldwide are taking drugs like Ozempic to lose weight, but what do we actually know about them? This month, the conversations experts explore their rise, impact, and potential consequences. Every now and then, scientists develop treatments that end up being even more popular for another condition entirely. Think of Viagra, originally for high blood pressure. Well, that would cause it, wouldn't it? Now used for erectile dysfunction. Or thalidomide, a dangerous morning sickness treatment that is now a valuable cancer treatment. Right. If it's super toxic and deadly, they give it to cancer patients. See, told you cancer's bad. Look, another person died. I wonder if they went to 90 essential nutrients first. We already know the answer to that. They'd be out of business if they did. And if they didn't inject children with vaccines, there wouldn't be a need for something like Rady Children, the Ronald McDonald House, or St. Jude's. When people say, "Oh, you should, support or donate to these nonprofits that are helping children with cancer," I'm thinking to myself, how about a world where children don't have it because we understand that the practice of so-called healthcare is causing it? Eliminate the problem. You don't have to worry about it's just perpetuating the misery and giving money to people who have absolutely no desire and no intention of actually solving anything. Charities don't put themselves out of business. Industries don't put themselves out of business by being too good at what they do. Not in this world of corporations, they don't. The blockbuster drug Ozempic was originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes. Funny enough, it causes type 1 and conditions that result in too much glucose or sugar in the blood. This is because the body can't effectively use the insulin it produces. And why is all this a thing? Why? Oh, because the body's stupid? Because it's genetic? Is that right? It has nothing to do with the simple fact that you didn't have the nutrients that you needed. In the 1980s, medications to treat type 2 diabetes would often lead to weight gain, which could worsen the condition. Patients would end up needing insulin replacement therapy. They would need it, right? Need it, because they never actually fixed the true problem. But the class of, again, this is all childish, immature ignorance or deliberate ignorance or rejection of the simple concept that you need food for more than just calories. And when you take all the things that are normally or would have naturally been in the food that you eat, by making it processed, by screwing up the way it's grown through chemicals and depleted soil, you end up having to supplement because everything that should naturally be there is in such small amounts, if at all. And that is why people become obese in the first place, because they're lacking something that they need, and the impulses are strong because they're natural impulses telling you that you're not getting the raw materials for your body to and your vital force to carry out its functions and maintain and do the maintenance on your body. And then things break. But the class of drugs Ozempic belongs to change this and generate $21 billion of sales in 2023 alone. In the 19th century, a bunch of idiots, French physiologist Claude Barnard, sought to explain why large amounts of glucose, the main sugar in your blood, can be taken orally, whereas if glucose is given intravenously, small amounts overload the body's systems because it's not supposed to be in the blood. Your body works very hard to get it the hell out of there. That's why it's used as the first fuel, because any way it can get rid of it, push it into the cells and create fat cells, or burn it off as energy. And then when they say, "Oh, you switch over to whatever lactose or whatever the shit is," you can just burn fat. It's not in your body. If it needs glucose, it can produce it. You don't need to be seeking heavy amounts of sugar. Definitely not refined sugar, but any other thing too. Like fruit is available in most places, unless you're in a certain type of climate, a short portion of the year. And then you go back to hunter-gatherer type shit with emphasis on the hunted meat. And that's what you sustain life with the majority of the time. You fatten up with the fruits. because of the sugars. During that time, that's when you're supposed to pack it on because winter's coming and you're going to be looking for the meats. It's just whatever. In 1932, Belgian Jean Labarre, all these people with French names, identified there was a hormone in the gastrointestinal tract responsible for stimulating insulin secretion. So they're describing the chemicals, but they're not understanding the underlying vital force that's orchestrating what happens. So they focus on the things that your body produces to send the signal rather than the process itself. So let's throw that chemical in there that creates the signal and then overrides your body's regulation of that signal and then hijack the body to do things when you want them to rather than when it's appropriate, given the fact, the assumption, the need for the essential minerals and nutrients so that your body can do these things. In the 1960s, researchers showed the incretin effect was responsible for about 2/3 of people's insulin response. New and sensitive ways to measure blood hormone levels then allowed researchers to show a hormone called GIP, glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, was partly responsible for the incretin effect. So they just apply names to new chains of molecules, right? And they say this is this and that is that. And again, they're looking at the chemistry, and if they only look at it as chemistry, then the body in their mind becomes a bag of chemicals without any regard or consideration of the fact that your body's so damn smart that it knows how to send a signal to other parts of your body to affect a change or inspire a secretion of some sort in order to regulate something. And how does it do that? When it's fully functional with all of its nutrients that it's needed, then it's going to do this process better than any intervention, iatrogenic intervention by a doctor would be able to do. Nature and your vital force, the things that are connected to the benevolent creator, understand when, where, how much, and why, and how, way better than some jackass who doesn't even consider that you need something out of your food more than calories. This meant there must be another hormone whose discovery had to wait until the age of cloning in the 1980s, cloning the GLP-1 glucagon-like peptide 1 gene. Biochemist Svetlana Mosov demonstrated it stimulated pancreatic insulin secretion at 1/100th of the concentration needed for GIP. So GLP-1 was identified as another incretin responsible for people's insulin response. Yes. Had so many, my pancreas just went into shock. You know that song, right? That's where your insulin is secreted from. And there's 2 pancreatic enzymes that actually inspire or initiate the placenta growth, and then another one that sends the signal to stop the growth. Pancreas is kind of an important thing. I'm pretty sure that's right. If I remember, I think I'm right about that. Let's see. Pancreatic enzymes that, let's see. I don't even know if they admit to this or not, but I know Dr. Glenn's talked about it. But they are strongly interact during pregnancy through metabolic signaling. The placenta acts as an endocrine organ, releasing hormones like human placental lactogen. And there's another one. There's 2 other ones. Are they going to talk about them? Nope. Yeah, trypsin is one of them. The other one was I don't know if it's that one. I think they might be. Anyway, enter a poisonous lizard. In the 1980s, John Pisano, a biochemist with a penchant for venoms, aren't they all? A young gastroenterologist, Jean Pierre Rothman, concerning last name, were working with poisonous lizard venom from a Gila monster, just for kicks, a slow-moving reptile native to the south of south of the United States and north of Mexico. By the 1990s, Pisano, Rothman, and colleague John Ing identified a hormone-like molecule they called exendin 4. This stimulated insulin secretion via action at the same receptors as GLP-1. So it's another way to send a signal. Excitingly, yay! Exendin 4 was not quickly metabolized by the body, because it's not supposed to be there, and so might be useful as a diabetic therapeutic. Right, don't solve the root cause of the problem. Don't address that. Just override the body so that it continues to function the way you think it should, rather than its response to something not being right and downregulating itself until it's put back into balance. Right. Continue to hold that gas pedal down and say, fuck you. I don't care if there's a wall. Ing was convinced this would work, but pharmaceutical companies didn't want to give people a hormone mimic from a venomous lizard. Are you sure about that? They've been doing that forever. It's in all kinds of different drugs, including heart medication. Even I'm not saying Gila monster, but animal venoms or the synthesis of them. AZT would be one of those. It's shallow sea sponge venom that it was mimicked from. AZT was a wonderful drug, huh? Whenever it's super, super deadly, hey, you know what? Give it to cancer patients. Oh, wow, this one's even way too poisonous for them. Yes, we want them to die, and we want to blame the cancer, but this is just too rapid. Hey, I got an idea. We want to scare people with this thing we're calling AIDS. And what better way to prove that it actually exists than to kill people with the treatment and then blame the silly name that we gave something? Yay! All the things that people die of and the deterioration and degradation of their bodies is directly related to known effects, not side effects, known effects of the drugs, the medications that they put you on, and yet they'll still claim that cause of death is disease name. Ing was convinced this would work, but pharmaceutical companies did not want to give so even the medical center where Ing was working wouldn't help fill the patent. Sorry. Gila monster is found in the UA. We already know. Here he is. Hi. How's it going, buddy? Eventually, he and Rothman convinced a small startup called Amylin Pharmaceuticals. Amylin quickly showed synthetic exendin 4 rapidly normalized the way we want it to happen. Blood glucose in type 2 diabetic mice. Fucking mice. Exendin 4 then proved safe and effective. Ha! Where have we heard that before? Safe and effective in humans. Leading to the 2005 Food and Drug Administration, because they're out there to make sure that you're safe, aren't they? Food and Drug. Who was that established by? How'd that come about? You know anything about the AMA? Do you know anything about the Food and Drug Administration? Read Murder by Injection by Eustace Mullins. FDA approval to exenatide under the name Byetta. It soon became evident that many taking Byetta were experiencing sustained weight loss around 5%, but with some experiencing much more, with the benefit of reversing their diabetic symptoms. News of this weight loss effect. Well, when you paralyze your stomach and you cause gastroparesis, paralyzing your gastrointestinal tract, you're not getting any nutrients. You're not digesting. It's not getting to the small intestine. It's not doing anything. So, how long do you think you can sustain that type of existence before muscle deterioration? Because you're not just losing fat. The rapid weight loss is because muscle, which is necessary for metabolic rate, the more all kinds of things, like even fat burning, you need more muscle for that. Health is directly related to the amount of muscle you have. I don't know, you can overdo everything, yes, and you can do it artificially to where that's not healthy, and all the other things that you can inject in yourself and the growth hormones and all this. It does numerous other things, but by and large, natural muscle development and building is going to be an across the board benefit. When you start taking away all that hard work that you put into getting there, or you're a female and you become more frail, the next thing that happens after the muscle, the fat, well, nutrients, remember, the bones are going to get weak too. Not to mention the fact that with all these nutrients being suspended in your body, whatever ones you might have even had the small amount in the paralyzed stomach, your retinas start to weaken, and they cause Ozempic blindness. And they call it, that's from the type 1 diabetes. That's from you guys intervening, actually, with this snake venom isolate. Sorry. Gila monster. From a lizard toxin to Ozempic. Right, let's hear you rationalize this one. Meanwhile, Danish pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk had been developing a long-acting GLP-1 mimicking drug as it had done for insulin in the past. Its research showed high levels of GLP-1 could correct diabetes in mice, and they would lose weight. Hey, look, the effect is it loses weight. Hey, look, the effect is that it is blind and dies. But hey, they lose weight, so we win. It's like, again, the thought process of the operation was a success, but the patient died. And that was what they used to say about Lister. Yes, the operation was a success, but the patient died. And his legacy is Listerine, right? Novo Nordisk's new GLP-1 drug had been designed to be long-acting. One consequence of this design was it was better at accessing brain GLP-1 receptors. This new drug, liraglutide, approved as Victoza in 2010 in the United States, was better for weight loss than Byetta, typically 10% weight loss, but still needed daily injections. Daily injections are not popular, and Novo Nordisk's team had been working on an even longer-acting drug, semaglutide, approved as Ozempic in 2017 as a once-weekly injection. It had improved brain GLP-1 receptor targeting, further enhancing weight loss. Due to its safety profile and weight loss efficacy of around 15%, a higher dose, but they say weight loss. Did they say fat loss? What is also being lost in the process? Rapid weight loss always indicates that you're losing muscle too. A higher dose of semaglutide gained FDA approval. And when I say statements like that, understand you don't need to semantic that to death. You got to understand that if you're doing something that isn't bringing in food, you're not building muscle, you're not getting the nutrients and the proteins and all that, you have to concede to the idea that you're also going to be shrinking down muscularly as well as losing fat. A higher dose of semaglutide gained FDA approval as Wegovy in 2021 as a standalone obesity treatment. So how do these drugs actually work? Your gastrointestinal tract contains specialized cells that measure the quantities and qualities of incoming food, as well as the absence of food, and communications and communicates this with the rest of your body, including your brain. It's fucking with your brain, kids. You may remember Pavlov's dogs, plural, which were conditioned to expect a meal at the sound of a bell, kind of like what happens when you're presented with a delicious plate of food. This is kind of how the insulin to the sweet taste is also a thing. Like the sweetness triggers, hey, pancreas, give us some insulin because we have to repair what's being thrown at us so that it doesn't poison us to death. Yeah. Not only does your brain make you salivate, it also starts the process of releasing digestive juices and even causes insulin levels to rise. Ozempic and other GLP-1 mimicking drugs slow gastric emptying, which increases your sense of fullness. And how does it slow gastric emptying? Through gastroparesis, paralyzing your gastrointestinal tract. From top to bottom. Insulin secretion increases because there are nerves with GLP-1 receptors close to the wall of your gastrointestinal tract. This sends messages to the unconscious part of your brain that interpret these and send messages back via nerves to your gastrointestinal tract and pancreas to secrete insulin. The eating hormone and satiation cycle. The sight and smell of food prepares you. Salivary glands, esophagus, liver, but somebody, blah, 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 do. You want to watch this? All right. Does it have volume? Doesn't look like it. I can't really. Come on, I gotta hold it. It's all grayed out, so I can't make it bigger. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What about the new drug, Mounjaro? Remember the other incretin hormone, GIP? GIP also suppresses appetite and can stimulate insulin secretion, but not as well as GLP-1. Unlike GLP-1, GIP increases the secretion of another hormone, glucagon. Glucagon promotes energy use, but also increases blood glucose during periods of fasting. Many felt the actions of glucagon needed to be blocked for effective anti-diabetic and weight loss medications, but this doesn't seem to be the case. German physician and scientist Matthias Schopp and American chemist Richard DeMarchi, who had met at Eli Lilly, oh how nice, were working on synthetic versions of glucagon to treat sudden drops in blood glucose when they unexpectedly found long-term dosing caused weight loss in obese mice. Since GLP-1 and GIP are closely related, they thought it might be possible to target both receptors with a single drug. And the rest was history. Here we go. In 2013, they showed a dual-acting drug was effective in obese mice. This led to the development of tirzepatide, Mounjaro, and Zepbound, which is a slightly higher dose. Compared with GLP-1 drugs, it also stimulated metabolism, particularly fat loss. Clinical trials of Zepbound showed it to be more effective than Ozempic for weight loss, typically 18% of body weight. Do you understand how they're kind of hiding the muscle loss thing here too? Mounjaro was approved for type 2 diabetes in 2022 and Zepbound approved for obesity in 2023. Yes, they're talking about obesity, right? Like morbidly obese people, I still don't think you're helping them by cheat coding them. The moment they're either going to be dependent on this thing forever, and that could result in catastrophic things. Not to mention the fact that you're also not even, it's not even in your conversation of what you need to do, because during this period of taking the drug, nothing's moving and nothing's being absorbed and nothing's circulating in your body as far as your nutrients. Everything's halted or slowed down dramatically. And when you're not consciously putting the minerals that you need into your body, and the calcium and magnesium and all the other things, because no one's taught you that that's what you need first. The moment the drug stops, your impulse, your desire, your need, your want for food, your body doesn't tell you what exactly it is that you need. It just tells you to eat, because typically that would be all you would need to know, and nature would have provided all of the nutrients in the food. But since they're not there, people eat and eat and eat and eat without satiation, probably also because there's, high fructose corn syrup in a lot of the foods. And if you're not taught to stay away from the bad foods, then you're shutting down that sense of satiation and fullness that your brain is triggered to tell you to stop. High fructose corn syrup shuts that shit down. So you just keep on going. And since you're not actually getting the nutrients that you needed, you're going to continue to eat again. And that's why people are probably, most certainly, besides lack of, they're a little sedentary. And you get more sedentary the heavier and more uncomfortable in your body you get, and the more ashamed of yourself or whatever in public. You're just going to get less and less active until, it hurts your joints and muscles and everything else, your bones. It's an effort. You break a sweat just trying to get off the couch or take a shower, wipe your butt. And that's exercise for you. So for somebody like that to go for a walk, that's exercise. For somebody who's active and used to doing a lot of cardio, going for a walk is, I don't even think you can include that in your daily, it's all about how the difficulty level of what you're engaged in. So these issues were never first attempted to be fixed by simply providing the minerals that people need, and hey, is that enough for the? It's not just the habit, the routine, or the mental desire for the food, and it's natural impulse telling you that you're starving, basically, because you're lacking certain things that your body absolutely needs in order to function and carry out its functions and heal and stuff like that. That's a whole other impulse that's much stronger than just your need to change your routines and habits. And if you're constantly trying to lose weight without the minerals, then you are going to be fighting against yourself and against your very nature. And since nobody's telling you this, and providing you a drug, a cheat code that has all kinds of other bad things going on with it, you're not really fixing a problem. You're causing new ones. And the rapid weight loss means your skin doesn't again, you need some elastin, you need some collagen, right? Isn't going to tighten up as you lose weight nearly in the same on the same what do you call it? It won't be as rapid as your weight loss, so you're gonna have a lot of loose skin for a period of time, and sometimes that can actually fix itself over time, but you need nutrients for that, and no one's telling you about those things. And so GIP and GLP-1 are similar to glucagon, so Shop and DeMarchi, or DeMarchi maybe, set out to develop a drug targeting all three. And this is the triple threat, ratatouille. In 2014, they showed that a triple targeting drug, which would become retatrutide, I've been saying it wrong, retatrutide, was superior, because, you know why? Because Coach Greg says it wrong. Was superior in obese mice. Now, in mid-stage clinical trials, Eli Lilly's drug retatrutide, once weekly injection, results in weight loss of around 24% in obese adults. Might as well just take the Gila monster at this point and just, right on your whatevers. Semaglutide, tirzepatide. Why can't you take them in a pill? Because it's all part of the fun of injecting this shit directly into your blood. These current drugs are big molecules, guys, are huge. Really huge. Peptides, and for this reason must be injected as they're not absorbed effectively in the gut. You mean to tell me that your natural makeup is resistant and incompatible with unnatural, uh, whatever you call it, therapies and routines? That almost seems like it's intelligent design again. You know, the reason why people started drinking their pee in the first place, and now they try to make it into drink your pee. There's good things for it, and they're like, oh, it's sterilized. No, it's a waste removal mechanism. Sterility plus the shit toxins and busted up crap and particles, the viscosity going out of your piss hole and the other direction too, the butt, doesn't make it remain. It's like, oh, if it's so sterile and so, why the hell are you drinking it again? The reason why people started doing that in the first place was because of amanita muscaria mushrooms and other drugs that don't go through your system and cause very dramatic of effect because your body's smart enough to separate toxins and your liver gets damaged a little bit in the process, perhaps, and your kidneys get flushed with amanita too. So if you have stones and you take a heavy dose of amanita, there's a chance you're going to kick out those stones. Good or bad thing, depending on if you're prepared for it. And if you then drink your pee or someone else's or a caribou, the flying reindeer, then it's a more concentrated, already passed through the liver once and separated and broke, because there's molecular breakdown that's required for the intense full effect of whatever this psychoactive is. And then that's why people were drinking the pee, because it already was in a usable form. The reason why your body separated that stuff, because it's smart and it sees it as a poison. And with this, the thing that masquerades as modern and sciencey and scientific has an awful lot of occultic and very cult-like black magic and sorcery and pharmakia embedded into its very core, but they pass it off as something completely different, and then because they control the information around everything, the studies and what's published, they can manufacture an illusion, create a whole world of false perceptions of things, to where they're encouraging now that people do stupid things because it's part of their cult rituals and they want you to partake. Let's see. We don't care. That one's done. Did we go through this one? This isn't the only time we've relied on the chemical arsenal of toxic animals. Life-saving drugs have emerged from the crucible of the natural world many times throughout history. Now, if you were taking these in a homeopathic law of potentization manner, where these things create a certain type of symptom profile, and your body, without having taken it, is also expressing the same symptom profile, likes cure likes. Well, when you take it in a homeopathic preparation, it's such a minuscule amount that it's simply the energy, or you can call it frequency signature, of that material that's left. It's not in a dose specific, like heavy, anything like that. You're not injecting the shit either. So if that was the case where you're matching symptoms, there could potentially be, but this is not, it's not applied properly here. Allopathy doesn't apply their therapies and treatments in a proper manner. They're always doing oppositional defiance, or whatever you want to. It's not. It's kind of like that. It's opposites cure opposites, right? So it's always the war model, and all that does is suppress the way your body's expressing its current state. It's telling you something, and you're like, shut up. That's inconvenient. It's like, hey, the house is on fire. Shut that asshole up and close the window. I don't want to see that. You're upsetting me. So yeah, there could potentially be, because there are homeopathic preparations and homeopathic remedies that, again, they have to match the symptoms perfectly, and then you get a remarkable curative effect from it. This isn't about how do I fix me not being able to stop shoveling food in my mouth or whatever else the case may be, because that's something that is handled in a whole different fashion. Kind of looks like little leaves on him, doesn't it? Little green leaves feathered onto him. Anyway, life-saving drugs have emerged from the crucible of the natural world. One of the top-selling drugs worldwide, so that must make it good and right. Must be the way if it's top-selling, because there certainly isn't a bunch of people that were forced it or recommended it and thought the doctor probably knows better. That the fact that it's top-selling doesn't substantiate or validate whether or not it's a good practice. Top-selling drugs worldwide originates ironically from a snake's venom, but it's far from snake oil. Oh, lisinopril reduces the chemicals that restrict blood flow, which is why it's prescribed for high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, and to heart attack survivors. There were people that were, there's lisinopril. Is Lipitrol the same as well? Let's see. Lipitor, Skeletor, is a prescription statin medication used alongside diet exercise to lower bad cholesterol. People need to learn so much. They need to stop listening to their doctors. Inspired by is the only way you can get them to. Belongs to the class of drugs, statins. Okay, maybe it wasn't Lipitor, but lisinopril was definitely. Oh, no, hold on. You just got to go a little further. However, you might be thinking of a different category of cardiovascular medication. Captopril, not Lipitor, right? Captopril. These life-saving blood, quote unquote, blood pressure drugs were directly inspired by the venom of a Brazilian pit viper. There he is eating a frog, looks like. Is that what he's doing? And a lizard. He's eating a lizard. Pyrophibin. Exenatide, right? Yale monster. Pygmy rattlesnakes. Yeah, these are all wonderful things. And they're not done in the homeopathic manner, so equally, or I mean, that much worse. That's what I was trying to say. But this is it. But the maker of its natural form, the Brazilian viper, evolved to produce enzyme inhibitors that help venom spread smoothly through the doomed body of its prey. All the more reason to take it, huh? All the more reason to take it, because I mean, sea sponges are among the most ancient animals on this planet, so says the people who don't know anything about the history. So they've had a long time to cook up some interesting molecules, because that's the whole concept that things started with from the simple to the and evolved into the complicated, rather than everything was always here. The Caribbean sponge produces strange nucleosides, which, in lieu of an immune system, protect it from the onslaught of foreign DNA introduced to its sessile body by predators and prey as a filter feeds. Gee, I wonder if those things would help you fight off mRNA. These nucleosides provided the inspiration for the chemotherapy drug cytarabine, or cytarabine, whatever way they pronounce that, which is among the WHO's The World Health Organization list of essential medications. Now they have essential medicines, but they don't have essential nutrients. Gee, I wonder if they focus their attention more on the essential nutrients, if they would need essential medicines at all. At least not in the framework of allopathic reductionism and opposites cure opposites bullshit from the corrupted mind of Galen, who was by the way, he was an occultist, right? For its use in treating non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and leukemia, right? Treating. Did they say curing? No, they said, hey, we want these people to look sick. Otherwise, they're going to forget that they are. We're going to give them some drugs that cause the very things that we tell you that this cancer does, and then you'll be convinced that your cancer is getting worse. And then you'll cling to us even more. You'll cling to us for answers even more, you silly duped people. On the top levels, this is exactly how these oives in this cult are thinking. Animal toxins are proving useful. Yeah, I bet they are. In treating other cancers too. Yeah, really, is the cancer is the cancer death rate in the amount of cancers people the amount of people getting cancer reducing somehow? Are people surviving? Are they being cured? Are they going into absolute, total, and permanent remission? Which even that itself is misleading, because it implies that everything else that they told you about the process is valid, and it isn't. Oncologist Jim Olsen was dismayed to discover that even after a 14-hour surgery to remove a tumor from a teen girl's brain, a thumb-sized piece of the cancer had been left behind. He was dismayed. Maybe he should do a better job. He assembled a team to find a molecule that would help surgeons see cancers with the naked eye. And thanks to newly assembled DNA databases, they were able to find a suitable candidate in a matter of weeks. The unlikely origin? The venom of one of the most dangerous scorpions on Earth, the Death Stalker. Yeah, that's exactly what I want in your head. Excellent. Perfect. Does any of this sound like it's, I don't know, pharmacy and witchcraft yet? In isolation, the peptide chlorotoxin, which looks like cis, sci-fi 5, had already been found to bind to ion channels. Again, if you're assuming and believing, a lot of the things that they say are elements and components of your body are theoretical components, like receptors, like immune system, antibody. We can keep going. The lab-made version, tozoluristide, creates a kind of light-up paint under near-infrared that has allowed researchers to see cancerous clusters as small as a few hundred cells in rodent studies. This is what they're doing to you. All right, anyway. There's all that. The Gila Monster's role in creating Ozempic. Tucson, of course, because this is their home. Let's go to the chat here. Let's see. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Edward Snowman. Let's go. I'll share it so I can say thank you. Where to go? All right, so on the Buy Me a Coffee link, you guys click that if you want, and then da-da-da, and then Edward Snowman. Here's for Monday's show. Thank you for the great show. Thank you, Edward Snowman, for keeping this thing alive, my friend. If anybody would like to follow and help Edward out, you can. It's buymeacoffee.com /Wildbusters. All right. It's greatly appreciated, as always. And once I figure out how to do more links and stuff like that, I'll do that. That's my dog. It looks different. It kind of looks like a mouse there, but I kind of look like I'm disheveled. I'm not that old. This is hot out. All right, so here we go. Sounds pretty serpent cult to me, he says. Let's see. I gotta get up here. There's a lot more. There's that. There's that. Well, that sounds nummy. I'm glad to hear you skip the Gila monster, the Gila poison again, and always did. Perplexing state of hospitalarian. Is that a word? Protocols. How to stop the misery go around? Right. It's going to become a word now if it wasn't before. Thanks for the lift, lady. Been rough chores for me lately. And you guys talk to each other. Dan, the placenta is hampered by such. Is this the big secret behind 1-to-1 birth ratio in Germany? Could the woman's body be so sensitive to such that a minuscule amount would stave off production? I would say yes, says Karen. If I can find it on my BitChute, hold on. It might be the only place this video survived because I think they wiped out a bunch of stuff on Dr. Glennon's channels. Let me see if I can find it. It's gonna be deep in this, but let's see. Gotta keep going, kids. Don't ask me why I put on bit. Oh, it's just because. All right, so we're getting into the older stuff now. 3 years ago, oh yeah, I can't contact Mike Adams anymore because my phone screen was unable to be responsive. So the Signal app that I contact and talk to him on, it's not letting me connect to anybody, and it's like, oh, do you have the QR code? And I'm like, how many people just get new phones? Like, oftentimes people break them or they get unusable. So don't you think there would be other ways of transferring your data? So I've installed the Signal app 3 different times now. Tried getting a cut because I know Dr. Monzo's on it too. So I was testing to see if I could find him. It says no matter how many times I spell his name in different ways, that person doesn't exist. There's not even a guy on Signal named Mike at all. If you just say Mike, so I don't know what's going on with Signal, but I just uninstalled it for the 3rd time. Here it is. Dr. Linden, pancreatic enzymes eliminated tumors. We'll look at that. It's only 6 minutes long. 40 years ago. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. I would say yes, especially if she wasn't fully nutrified prior to conception and during the pregnancy, because the more nutrified, the better chance for all outcomes, including conception. And then D-Bot says, hi, crew. What's up, D-Bot? Let's see how close I am in my answer. I've been learning a ton, so hopefully I'm pretty close, he says. And then Karen said hello to D-Bot. And then, how are you doing tonight, Howdy? Wow, busy day. Challenging PSYOP agent on fakeology on JTube. Yay, we can all lose so much weight. The casket should be smaller and cheaper, right? Well, heck, that sure sounds fun. Sarcasm. I just made coffee, she said. It's nice. She who braves the caves keeps the crypts and roams the catacombs like a magical treasure grotto of human stories, body parts, and other artifacts of the particular time and place. Yeah. Karen says hi. Sounds pretty serpent cult to me, says Edward. Yep. Let's see. And then it's as if the GLP is tricking the body into believing it's dying to burn fat. Definitely serpent Black Widow style snowy. Side benefits. They're actually trying to kill you. One of y'all. Yeah, and that's funny because I always think of it as when you go to the idea of follow the money, it's like that's not going deep enough to understanding what they do and how they do it, right? And why. Their hatred and disgust and disdain is so great. Their envy and their everything else for every other living thing. The money thing is how they get their way so that they can cause more misery and suffering and harm. It's not really. It's like the follow the money, yeah. But what's the money being used for? It's not about so much making it. It's more about them giving it to the people that are then carrying out by proxy the destruction that this cult wants to cause. So I can only imagine what detrimental shit these billionaires and trillionaires have already done. You know, I mean, the manipulation, the mind control aspects of social media, that all of them are very wealthy in media in general. What do you, I mean, if you have people's perceptions and perspectives in a certain parameter of they're not going to go this any further than this and they're not going to go any further than that, you've got them in this box here. That's as far as their thought process will ever go. You know how to predict every other thing that inside that little box, and you can manipulate the fuck out of them. And just throw whatever stimulant that in there that appeals to them the most, and then they'll fill in the rest of the blanks and create their own false realities that suit their that make them feel good about their overall perspective of life. And it's all part of the game. That's a big distraction. And again, if you say follow the money, it's like follow the people doling out the money, follow the cult, follow the priestcraft. And when people say, well, what's that mean? The banking cult, the serpent cult of the moon cult, the Saturn cult, all under disguise of the 3 Abrahamic death cults as it is today. And the people who are the advisors to the king, the whispers in the ears of the president, the advisory teams, the NGOs, all this stuff, underlying desire to cause a belief system that's completely false but works very well in their cultish beliefs overall. It's very Malthusian, genocidal eugenics. And what's the excuse? Climate bullshit. Oh, but put that aside because data centers. That kind of goes against everything we said, doesn't it? Progress. Shut up. Poison. All water. Cut down all trees. Glyphosate the shit out of everything. And make no room for food growth. Oh, and by the way, the new hip trend is to look like the Crypt Keeper. Why? Because everybody's going to by default anyway soon. So might as well, kick it off right and make it into a pop culture desire. At the same time, looks maxing is on the rise. And then you have, and then this Ozempic shit, and it's like everybody's got a cheat code. Fuck the effects that it causes. There's people that are bodybuilders that are taking these GLPs, and it's so stupid because everybody takes these things to just dial it in just perfect. It's like, you didn't need them. You're not a beast, and nobody needs them anyway because nobody's still addressing the main problem here. People have the wrong idea about cholesterol. They have the wrong idea about salt. They have the wrong idea about a fatty food diet, and they completely misunderstand sugars often, and no concept whatsoever, not even an incorrect concept of what minerals they need and why that would make all the difference in everything else that they're aspiring to try to accomplish. Let's see. And the only thing worse than a Pollyanna piss drinker is a Minnesota bark eater, says Nigurski. Karen said, oh dear, just understood what the second part meant. Getting people to understand their MDs are steering them down a bad path is exhausting, especially on salt and cholesterol and the 90. Right. These are 3 main components that would change everybody's life if they just understood. Or just, hey, did you ever just do a not a speed run, but just run something and just test it and say, hey, I'm skeptical, but let's just run it for, however many days. What's the period? 90 days? Sure. We'll do 90 days of taking the nutrients, and I'll eat things that have cholesterol. I'll eat eggs. I won't throw out the egg yolk. I'll salt my food to my liking so it tastes good. I'll eat steak and, maybe if you want to avoid nitrates and all that stuff too, uh, you know, untreated bacon if you want, even though I know blah, 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 but everybody's going to give up just so much before they get angry, right? And then just eat your chicken, eat the shit, eat the proteins, high protein diet, stay away from the carbs as much as possible. And you don't have to get rid of all of them, but just see what happens. Just see what happens when you take the 90 essential nutrients in and of themselves. But when you have food that, and you understand the cholesterol is something that your body needs for all its hormones, those are also the signaling system of your body for the processes that you need it to run. And it's also like 75% of your brain. Everything is renewed all the time. So you need a constant supply of the minerals and nutrients and all the good stuff so that your body can rejuvenate, replace, and keep up. And I told you that I gave you that example of the cast. How your arm, let's say it's your arm, is hypersensitive like a newborn baby. Once you take that cast off and you see all the dead skin on the inside, usually stuck into the inside of the cast. Water, regular, just water that's not chilled coming out of your tap would like be super cold, or and then for a while it's like that. Your arm feels super weird. That's because it was all exposed to air all at the same time. And why? Because all the skin that was there before the cast went on, it's already been replaced. It's brand new baby skin again. And who did that? You? Were you thinking about it? How much of your brain power is? No, your body did it on its own. Your vital force was taking care of business and doing all that for you. And another thing you could look at with the whole idea of a cast on your arm or stuff like that is the wasting away effect that you have. You have one arm that looks bigger than the other, and it takes a while to get that shit back, and a lot of effort. These people are taking this Ozempic and they're wasting away. Muscle is essential for your health, overall health. No, Bark Eater is bear bait. Them rednecks up the way north got their own kind of scary ways, like Wisconsin's Murder Highway. I wonder if Dan would share his knowledge of those type. I don't know anything about it. For his, let's see, tetrodotoxin isn't pufferfish. Wonder if they made a synthetic. No, they actually used it though. They used the tetrodotoxin was part of the conversations Dr. Artist and I were having a long time ago. There's bifotoxin, tetrodotoxin. There's scopolamine, which is a whole other thing, but that's it's like you should just look up scopolamine. And then there's the cytotoxic, like the sponge stuff. There's, I forgot what the other one was called, but yeah, these are all. Oh, you know what? Speaking of which, let me pull up another BitChute because I'll show you another one. You guys should watch this then. I'll set it aside for later, but I'll put this on here. My standards might have been different back then as far as what I considered a good broadcast, but this was probably because when you learn more, you realize that there are certain things that you're probably assuming are true because it's widely accepted, but it might not be. But as far as endless pandemics, conotoxins was the other one. Conotoxins. I'll just open it up so you can see the rest of the title. So it was endless pandemics, conotoxins, zombie tetrodotoxin, and COVID jab connection. And that's this guy right here. I'll put that in the chat, so you guys just go ahead and throw a tab up, and you can watch it later, whatever if you want. It's probably other places too, but I'm not 100% sure if it's survived anywhere else. Jump over here, drop it over here, paste, bam. There we go. All right, let's see what else you said. I'll look at it. Science, direct topics, medicine, and dentistry. Tetrodotoxin in dentistry. Okay, I'll look at that later too. Let's see. Hey Dan, did Adam make a baby with the L? No, no. I got an idea. I got the idea they did, but maybe I'm confused. You mean Thor? Adam Thor? No, Gwen Efer. Yeah, that would be Kane. The old lady in the woods there. That was or not in the woods, in the caves for the most part. She was too busy doing the whole what they call mother son cult thing with Balder. And that is as gross as it sounds, and that's also carried right over into Frankism, didn't it? And the whole Oedipus complex bullshit that good old Freud was trying to claim was everybody's mental state, not just somebody who was raised the way he was. The Tammuz thing is also, mom screwers. Once dad gets killed in some sort of conflict, and maybe even before that, they're doing some gross shit to each other. Thought Bob was a hybrid. But all should be based off of Balder Loki hyphen, whatever they call Abel as well. But there's Bel, Bel, and then there's Baal. That if you're going to go all the way back to the Edo or the pre-Sumerian roots of this, it was Balder. Body cast instead of venoms for the weight loss. Win then maybe. Win then maybe not. Saved it. I remember that thumbnail. It apparently been a while. Yeah, 4 years and counting, I guess. That toxin is similar to the one giant New Zealand centipedes use, I thought. Some say you'd feel it, some don't. Yeah, there's that centipede that I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's not exactly let's just say it's nightmare material. So this is what she used to look like, guys. She's got a little Harley Quinn going on in here, right? She thinned out something here, right? Not good enough. Doesn't have to ever work in her life. Dad was more of an asshole than he was evil. Just everything that I've heard about and learned about, he just leaned into the public persona that he was kind of given because of the name of the band, and they were getting a weird reputation as it was, and he just leaned into the Prince of Darkness bullshit, and it became like his shtick. And he was kind of he's married to, or was married afterward to his promoter / who the fuck she was, manager. And she was a round ball, that lady, before she went on her Ozempic craze. I mean, that's what she looks like now, and that's what poor Kelly looks like now. You saw mom turn into the Crypt Keeper, and you're like, I want some of that. Look at this, and now look at that. That is horrific, man. I can't. Why would anybody think that's a good thing? And you can see the boniness and the long ass neck. That's all from lack of muscle there. Your neck doesn't look as big like that if you have actual muscle. You have a little bit of, you got some traps going on. You got a little bit of shoulder. It's a skeleton. If you see the lack of a rear delt there and really not much of an arm at all, this person's very frail. And these weird tattoos, the tiny tattoos all over women's arms, I've seen this on a lot of girls. It looks like, hey, we were hasty and I wanted a tattoo. It's like rebellious bullshit all the way up your arms. It's like, you got to keep that forever, right? In a place that a lot of people can see it. It's just, I can stare at this and just be like fascinated the whole time. It's very weird. That toxin, I was freaky looking, so sad. Yeah, right. I don't think you can go back. Like, the framing of your face the indentation. They say sagging skin, which is kind of true if you lose it too quickly, right? And this is what this does. But the loss of muscle totally changes your appearance completely, and then all the collagen's gone. Everything that you once had is altered, and it's really not easy to get back to it. Even if she gained weight again and stopped taking it, her body is going to look different. Her face is going to look different. She's not going to look, and it's not because I'm not just talking about age. It's like the light is gone from their eyes too. It's just so fucking weird, man. I mean, yeah, I get it. She looked like she was awful there. Where did I put it? So there she is there. And she just kept going. She just doesn't know how to stop. Hating herself so much that she just didn't know when to stop. Like, I get it. You also were kind of embracing the whole emo, ugly thing going on there. She used to date the guy from The Used for a period of time there. She was probably a whack job, I'm guessing. And definitely, I think he probably was interested in her because dad could help his career. I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong. 5'1". Starting weight 190 at 5'1" is very big. Heaviest weight was 220. Current weight is 115. I don't think she's even weighs 115 at 5'1" now. That's with what? Like all of her clothes on? And some of those thick heeled Frankenstein boots. Body mass index. That means nothing. Anyway, Kelly Osbourne before the weight loss surgery. Yeah, before the weight loss surgery. Before having the sleeve. So she's been fucking with herself way too much. And then she does the Ozempic shit on top. Dr. Glidden was talking about this with the sleeve too. It's like, let's bypass all this crap instead of just learning how to eat properly and having some self-control and taking the minerals so that your body isn't constantly craving shit. Mom was a freaking big round fat ball, and daughter probably grew up with really bad habits too. And dad probably having sex with everything that moved and all that stuff. She probably had a lot of stress in her life during her time, and he was an alcoholic. Not to mention lots of other things, probably. So yeah, and what I said if I was going into the Black Sabbath thing is he got too arrogant for his own good, and they parted ways. And it was from everything that I've learned or sounded right as I was reading or watching something about him. It all pointed to him having a massive ego and also just being a jerk who didn't treat people right. He was too he didn't start off this way when Sabbath first began, but he got into the sniffing his own farts and thinking that they're divine pretty quickly, in that it was all him that did everything type of deal. And he went about that in many ways. When other bandmates and stuff like that would write songs, it would be Sharon that would fuck them in some sort of legal manner, and it would all be accredited to Ozzy having, he's a genius, he is the composer. No, he wasn't. And this is post Sabbath era times too. There'd be band members or people who contributed to his projects getting completely written out of it as if they didn't exist. And then Sharon would threaten them. She was very much Jew, in all those respects. Plus, she was, because dad was. But you could tell, right? And then she was also a big, fat, beastly person, too. She learned several tips from her dancing partner, Louis Van Amstel. Yeah, you could Amstel like the beer. But once the show was over, she relapsed and went back to unhealthy habits. Shut up. Since 2012, Osbourne has been following a vegan diet, which is also bad. You're not getting the nutrients that you need. Of course, you're going to balloon up. You know what else is a vegan? A cow. You dumbasses. Yeah, they're real sexy. Which has helped her keep meals healthy. People are so fucking wrong. Vegan, again, Remember the whole Kellogg thing with the vegetarian diet and it having been approved and promoted by Rockefellers and the Rothschilds because it's fucking terrible for you. It's a globalist freaking talking point, and it's a, what do you call it, manipulative tool. Vegans are a cult. As a celebrity has mentioned in several interviews, she had the sleeve because of her health, not her looks. Shut up. I did it for me. Well, then that means you did it for your looks. My health is I feel gross in my body. That's more. If you're doing anything for your health, it wouldn't be a surgery. It would be eating right and exercising. That would be for your health, you dumbass. For years, she grappled. She was on the floor, rolling around with public harassment, as well as alcohol and drug addictions. She followed her dad's footsteps, I guess, and mom's, which required years of therapy to recover from. After a full year of therapy, Kelly felt mentally and physically ready to get the sleeve. See how they promote this horrible, stupid shit? This is from Mexico Bariatric Center, so obviously, everybody's life was, you know, it all came to that one epiphany where they went and got a surgery. High intensity exercise is bullshit, cardio. Why didn't you do any of this before? Hoopnautica, using a regular hula hoop to perform several movements, dances. Isn't that kind of like what they did in I'm not talking about the hula hoop aspect of it, but using it. Then don't you see the old German footage of the women doing the mandatory exercise with one of those things, big smiles on their face? Yeah, you can't learn anything from a trainer because they don't tell you the very fucking core foundations. They can work you in ways that it's not going to, again, if they're actually talking about optimization, they don't know shit about nutrition. They don't know shit about nutrients. They don't know shit about all the core things that your body needs. And you're going to take their advice and pay shit tons of money for it. So they can pretend. Everybody who's a fucking trainer is a LARPer. Especially if they start telling you to take certain drugs, like, I don't know, coaches for bodybuilding athletes, which isn't really an athletic sport. It's just it's a beauty pageant for men. That was it. All right. Somebody showed a picture of like they showed that face of hers and they said like something about money. Like she's making a grimace face, but yes, she is. She's big. She's a big girl. But how is this better? Right? Is this? Oh yay! You succeeded! Hooray! Congratulations! Jesus Christ! How deluded do you have to be to think that that's an improvement? Like here, she's got makeup on. Here, she's not completely emaciated yet. She just didn't know when to stop. She didn't know it became an addiction because of self-hate. You see what I mean? Like, look at this. Like this, she looks pretty here, but there's makeup. You don't see the cheeks aren't sunken in yet. And it's not, oh, it's because she's aged. Dude, that's not age. I guess she had a pink phase. I don't mean the color. I mean the musician, whatever, singer chick. Or maybe she had a dyke phase. I don't know. That doesn't even look like hair. That looks like they just like airbrushed her head with the color. That's weird. It looks kind of neat. Okay, stop. Get a tit job. But, you know, if you want to put some extra weight on, put it in the chest. There you go. Much bigger there. Not as bad there. You can see how it goes from hoo to hoo. She's got a Harley Quinn thing going on there too. She's looking good, right? Stop. End it. Stop doing shit. You don't need any more. Too late. And she's married to a fucking gross fuck, too. This gross fuck right there. She needs to fix her teeth, first and foremost. But it doesn't matter anymore because now she looks like this, so who the fuck cares? It's over. Game's over. Yeah. The ship has sailed, as they say. Yep, it was in there. It's right here, sir. Here you go, develop happy. I don't know if can I pin things? I don't know if I can pin things. Paste. There you go. Thank you, sir. Can you pin it? Yeah, you can. Pin this message. Look at that. I pinned a message. Now you just have to hit the arrow down if it gets in your way or whatever. Let's see. Freaky looking, so sad. Body dysmorphia on steroids. It's funny because, yeah, they both are related too. She's definitely way less than 115 pounds at 5'1". A lot of 1s and 5s there, though, right? 1 and 5. No one here gets out alive. I hate the Osbournes. Ugly moles. Yes. This wasn't a praising event that we're doing here. We're discussing the Ozempic and all the other shit. They should all be put in labor camps. I'm done to listen to the retards. Dang it, Dan. I was gonna eat some Black Forest. I love those things actually. That brand too. Self control. He says. Daddle pepper. Picked beets instead. You have the datil pepper from St. Augustine. That's what they say it came from. Of course, Ozzy rose high enough to get swarmed by sidling yentas. Yenta Sildaris. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's funny. Yenta Sildaris. Where's that cow in meme? I'm vegan too, or something. Yeah, I put it up there. Like, yeah. I think it's on my Instagram. Back and pack headed to bounce. She's got the strong jaw she's been looking for in a mirror reflection or other inmate partner. Daniel beat me to it. Cash App crashed with Dan last time. I don't know anything about Cash App. Before the confusion was that you were saying it. Yeah. It was okay to do anytime. I thought you were saying that I had Cash App and I don't. That you were using Cash App to do the buy me a coffee. That was where the confusion was. Let's see. National Library of Medicine. From poisons to promise. The evolution of tetrodotoxin and its potential as a therapeutic. Yeah, we'll use this for a different day, I think. We'll get into that. This is gonna block me anyway. Confirm my choices. This is my choices right there. Yeah, we went into a lot of this in this one right here. So I would look at this one if you want me to hear my thoughts on it. They were more. It was more in the time when I was doing all the studying up on it. So I think that'll be better information than if I just go off my memory 4 years ago. Cyano. There's that cyan again. Cyanobacteria, often called blue-green algae, are used in medicine. They are rich source of bioactive. Okay, but hold on. Cyanobacteria are the first organisms known to have produced oxygen. Again, they're playing that game of from simple to more complex organisms, right? But wait, hold on. What do they do? Exposure to cyanobacteria, often called blue-green algae, and their toxins can cause a range of human health issues, from mild skin irritation to severe organ damage and respiratory failure. like cyanide, right? The respiratory failure. How does that happen? Actually, is that it doesn't allow your blood to bind to the oxygen. So your hemoglobin is like, it alters its shape or something so that it doesn't actually bind to the oxygen and carry it through your bloodstream. So you're basically suffocating inside your body. That's how cyanide works. So if this also causing respiratory failure, I just find it interesting. What they say COVID was doing? COVID. What did they say that was doing? It's just like high altitude sickness. The severity of symptoms largely depends on how a person is exposed and the specific type of cyanotoxin involved, right? That's the other thing about tetrodotoxins and conotoxins is there's like a shit ton of them. And I think conotoxins are the worst. Like the most poisonous. Liver and kidney damage, neurological impact, long-term risks. But hey, let's make a drug out of it. Inject it into people. Here's an abstract of cyanobacteria. Sponges are important components of marine community. Oh, yeah. Again, by the way, this would also be related or adjacent to AZT because of the shallow sea sponge toxin that they used. Thank you. Thank you, D-Bot. I just saw the thing pop up. And that's what those are. So now we have the Tel Aviv, right? Tel Aviv University, American Friends. Of course, American Friends of Tel Aviv. Yeah. Oh, that's almost like saying Judeo-Christian. Continued research can improve useful treating water sources polluted with arsenic, a hazard directly affecting the health of 200 million people worldwide because of juice. Sponges in Gulf of Eilat enjoy a symbiosis which converts toxic materials into metals. And of course, if there's a metal and it's precious, the Jews will be all over that research. A new study from Tel Aviv University found that sponges in the Gulf of Eilat have developed an original way to keep predators away. The researchers found that the sponges contain an unprecedented concentration of highly toxic mineral molybdenum. In addition, they identified the bacterium that enables sponges to store such high concentrations of this precious metal. That's why Jews are interested. And unraveled the symbiosis between the two organisms. Precious metal, toxic, poisonous, potential uses as a weapon. That just says Judaism. The study was led by PhD student Shani Shoham and Professor Micah Elon from the School of Zoology at, let's say it together, Tel Aviv University, George S. Weiss Faculty of Life Sciences. The paper was published in 2024. Who cares? Sponges are the earliest again, based on the Jew science, and Jew histories, the earliest multicellular organisms known to science. They live in marine environments and play an important role in the Earth's carbon, nitrogen, and silicon cycles. A sponge can produce and filter seawater 50,000 times its body weight every day. With such enormous quantities of water flowing through them, they can also accumulate various trace elements, including toxic amounts of materials like arsenic and molybdenum. It's the first time I've ever heard of that thing. Scientists are trying to understand how the sponges cope with these materials. 20 to 30 years ago, researchers from our lab collected samples of a rare sponge called Thionella conica from the coral reef of Zanzibar in the Indian Ocean and found in them a high concentration of molybdenum, Shoham says. Molybdenum is a trace element important for metabolism in the cells of all animals, including humans, and widely used in industry. I wanted to see whether such high concentrations are also found in the sponge species in the Gulf of Eilat, where it grows at depths of more than 27 meters. Finding the sponge and analyzing its composition, I discovered that it contained more molybdenum than any other organism on Earth. So you got a shit ton of arsenic out there, or you got a lot of molybdenum in the ground, whatever. Like all trace elements, molybdenum is toxic when its concentration is higher than its solubility in water. Shoham adds, but we must remember that a sponge is essentially a hollow mass of cells with no organs or tissues. In Theanella conica, up to 40% of the body volume is a microbial society. Bacteria, viruses don't exist, you fucking lying asshole. And fungi living in symbiosis with the sponge. One of the most dominant bacteria, called Entothionella, serves as a detoxifying organ for accumulating metals inside the body of its sponge hosts. Hoarding more and more molybdenum, the bacteria convert it from its toxic soluble state into a mineral. So now they're gonna rob sponges of their money too. See this? Now they've gone to the depth. They literally went to the depths, literal depths, to steal from other animals because they were done. They're not done. They're never done. They're always robbing somebody. So now they're gonna rip off these guys and take their fucking precious metals too. These motherfuckers. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. We are not sure why they do this. It says, hoarding more than molybdenum, the bacteria convert it from its toxic soluble state into a mineral. We are not sure why they do this. Because it's no longer toxic to them either. And it's again, the symbiosis of nature. Taking something that's either unusable or potentially hazardous to life, passing it through something. And in some cases, it's, metallic minerals that are then mineralized into something that's bioavailable through microbes and a plant. And the plant-derived mineral is what your body needs for its functions, like we were talking about. But it's the symbiosis of nature. People who are completely unnatural and create an artificial world and do everything against nature and God can't imagine why there would be such a process that would be cleaning up toxins and making them into a neutral, safe mineral. They can't figure that out. Why would you cause less destruction? We just can't figure this out. Why is there no chaos and mayhem in nature? This is fucked up. This is why we hate nature. Perhaps the molybdenum protects the sponge by announcing, "I'm toxic, don't eat me." This is the genius here. Literally said that. In return for this service, the sponge does not eat the bacteria and serves as their host. Future research should focus on the ability of Entothionella bacteria to accumulate toxic metals. A few years ago, our lab discovered huge concentrations of other toxic metals, including arsenic and barium. Gee, how'd they get there, Jews? In a close relative of Theanella conica called Theanella swinhoe. So this is the issue. They're saying we've done all of this work to destroy the entire world and make it completely disgusting and putrid and toxic and deadly. And here you go with your freaking nature and your natural processes, and you're trying to clean up our hard work, you fucks. Well, now we're stealing your minerals. We're taking your metals. And we're going to freaking, what do they call that? Dragnet the bottom of the ocean to destroy the rest of your asses. Which is common in the Gulf of Gila. In this case, Entothionella was found to be largely responsible for hoarding the metals because they are Jew adjacent, I guess, and turning them into minerals, thereby neutralizing their toxicity. Continued research, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So there's that. I think I had one more about that. And get rid of that one. Oh yeah, breakthrough HIV/AIDS drugs. Right, was indeed developed and based on a chemical compound originally discovered in a shallow water Caribbean sea sponge. I know it was. I'm the one who told you. Oh, here's the other Tel Aviv study. Is it the same guy? Sponge's precious metal glitters. Watch out, I'm toxic. A new study at Tel Aviv, blah, blah, blah. Probably the same thing. Molybdenum. Say is led by, yeah, it's the same. It's the same write-up. Doi, says DOI. Eureka alert. I'm sure everybody's subscribed to Eureka alert, aren't you? They put the ah in ass. There was another one. What about the ones I was picking out? Where did they go? There was more. Yeah, anyway, so this whole thing, repurposing as chemotherapy. Yeah, because it was too damn poisonous for everybody else. So like, you know what, let's turn AZT into a chemotherapy. We want cancer to look severe. Oh, wait a minute, we have this new thing. We want it to seem severe too. Well, give the treatment that will make everybody die a horrific, painful death, and we'll attribute it to the disease itself and scare more people into this craze and frenzy, raise a bunch of money for bullshit that we'll never do, empty buildings in New York City that claim to be AIDS research labs that we're just going to funnel money through. All good times. And guess what? Our little buddy there, our little Jesuit buddy there, will have plenty of time to utilize fleas and whatever the fuck else it was to eat the faces of poor defenseless beagles. So don't worry, he won't even have to take a break from all of that. An unusual oasis. Glass sponges are among the oldest, blah, blah, blah. Away, wasted, harmful toxins. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So let me go ahead and throw on this while I get up for a moment. Speaking of fish life, did you get the whale pet? Yes, I did. I liked them. The thumbed up them over on Telegram. Karen, that was cool. I saw the. So those were killer whales. You said orca, right? That's cool. Right outside your back, like that's your backyard, right? You mean it's something pretty to look at? No, you get the bloody thing here.
Here's a old-fashioned picture of the placenta. It's a remarkable part of the human body. Here's a picture of the placenta immediately after birth. And this is where it gets very, very, very interesting. Now, if you didn't know that was a placenta, and I told you that that was a cancerous tumor, it would be easy for you to think, oh yeah, man, it looks like cancer to me. Well, as it turns out, when you do a microscopic examination of the placenta, it even looks more like a malignant cancer cell, especially carcinoma. John Beard, a Scottish embryologist, Scotland, in 1903 made this observation. He observed that under the microscope, and even macroscopically, just looking at it, cancer cells resemble the pancreas. And not only do they resemble the pancreas anatomically, but also physiologically, because what does the pancreas do? What does the placenta do? The placenta aggressively attaches to the wall of the uterus, aggressively grows its own blood system, aggressively taps into the blood system of the mother, kind of like a parasitic organism. It's very aggressive and it grows, and nothing stops it. Well, there is one thing that stops it. But the point here is that, interestingly enough, the structure and the function of the placenta mimic the structure and the function of many types of cancer. Now, in the human body, the placenta stops growing when the baby's pancreas becomes active. Now remember, what's happening in the uterus? Well, the baby's growing. And every couple of days, something new forms, right? Ooh, here's the heart, and oh, here's the small intestine. Oh, here's the large intestine. Here's the arm. Here's the leg. Here's the liver. Here's the brain. Here's the eye. Here's the pancreas. Now, right around day 53, more or less, of gestation, once the pancreas has formed and starts working, the placenta stops growing. Now, John Beard made the observation, the assumption, he promoted the notion that there must be something that the pancreas secretes in order to halt the growth of the placenta. There must be something that the pancreas secretes, because that's just too big of a coincidence to overlook. The placenta grows and invades and grows and invades and grows and invades and then stops. And it stops at exactly the same time that the pancreas starts working. So he took another step and he extracted pancreatic enzymes from animals. Specifically, he extracted two pancreatic enzymes called trypsin and chymotrypsin. So one of the jobs of the pancreas is to make insulin to help regulate blood sugar, and also it generates digestive enzymes to help the body digest especially protein. Two of these enzymes that Beard focused on were called trypsin and chymotrypsin. So he extracted these enzymes from animals because these enzymes are virtually impossible to synthesize. Even in the 21st century, we can't make these up in the lab. We'll talk about that in a minute. So he injected the pancreatic enzymes into animal tumors and human tumors, and they shrunk. Cancer tumors shrunk. Imagine that. He published his results in the Journal of the American Medical Association, and he also wrote a book about it called The Enzyme Treatment of Cancer. Shortly after his work was published, it was put aside in favor of chemotherapy. We all know how unbelievably ineffective chemotherapy is. Again, you're welcome to your own opinion, but not your own set of facts. So, John Beard, in the early 1900s, made a remarkable observation. I mean, this guy was a real scientist, right? We observe and we think it through, and then we make a postulation, a scientific assumption, then we attempt to prove it. He did it all the way through. But then, because I believe of financial interests by the pharmaceutical industry and the chemotherapy juggernaut, this treatment was brushed aside by the winds of history.
All right. There you go. Pretty cool. And then there's that one. This one's long. Let's see how long. 210. 2 hours and 10 minutes. And way old. Let's see. 4 years ago. Where are we at? This is the wrong one. There we are. This was a phenomenal video from Dr. Glidden. Very interesting for sure. And then Edward Snowman said, Karen, that's a good thing. Art degrees are probably going to become more of a liability if times get hard. Did I already grab that one? Remember what a Jewfish is? Scholars changed it to a Goliath grouper because of folks' feelings. Stays under rocks and docks. Laziest fish around, hence its name. Oh, I think I know what it looks like. I know what a grouper looks like. See. Yep, that thing's massive. Look at the size of those things. They could swallow you whole. And they probably would, just for fun. Can a Goliath grouper eat you? It's technically large enough to swallow an adult whole. It is highly unlikely to eat a person. They feed via suction to swallow prey like crabs and rays whole. Wow. And there are no verified modern accounts of them killing or eating humans. Yeah, still wouldn't be that guy. They can reach up to 800 pounds and are aggressively territorial when defending food. Divers and spearfishers have reported the giant fish attempting to steal speared fish directly from divers or lunging at them. That's not terrifying. While a bite from their hundreds of tiny teeth could cause severe lacerations, their primary goal is just to grab an easy meal, not a human target. No, what are you doing? No, nothing. What are you doing? Oh, it's a baby Dan. It's baby Dan. Yeah, right. Well, so it's a chunkier BB Dan for sure. We had some stuff here. Let's see what we got for time. That's not bad. We can do some more. Got my thank you to everybody for keeping me in energy drinks. You probably can't even see this because it's mostly green, but let's see. Sour green apple warhead ghost energy drink. No artificial colors. Digursky says a 500-pound Jewfish will swallow a baby. Oh, I was. ChatGPT says, I think. It says, based on the conversations we've had, I actually think journalism could be a better fit for you than trying to build everything around YouTube. Who said I was building anything around YouTube? You've consistently shown a few traits that are valuable in investigative or opinion journalism. You gravitate toward unreported or controversial topics. You enjoy connecting disparate pieces of information into a larger narrative. You have a visual sense for packaging stories. You clearly aren't afraid of subjects that other writers avoid. Blah blah blah. And then thanks for the bullshit that I don't really care. Tell me how to learn to think shit. Blah blah. That's a bunch of crap. And yeah, whatever. Just a bunch of nonsense. The Gila monster's role in creating Ozempic, we've pretty much gone over all that, right? We said enough about that topic. Again, I gotta refresh it, I think. It is, yep. So that's funny how sometimes it comes up as someone for the name. But we know it's Dbot. Thank you. It happened to Alex too. It came out as someone, so I didn't know if he wanted me to say it or not. But I think it down here it says it's down more. Yeah, it says someone. Okay. All right. We started watching this one.
Why would a 2,000-year-old church built on a gospel of poverty hand total independence to a group that stands against everything it teaches? And why would it gut a 400?
Because Jays. Is that the short answer? Probably pretty accurate.
Year-old tradition, the devil's advocate, just to fast-track the sainthood of that group's founder in record time. Most people assume Opus Dei is a religious order, placing them alongside the Jesuits or Benedictines. They aren't. Traditional orders serve the poor. Opus Dei recruits the powerful. They don't serve a flock. They harvest the shepherds, teaching them to wield influence, shape policy, and impose their agenda on the population. And to do this, they needed a shield, the absolute legitimacy only the church could provide. And when their members meet with their priests, it isn't a traditional confession. Former members describe these as accountability sessions, focused on professional and recruitment goals. They're not there to repent. They're there to ensure their professional ambitions stay on track. The priests aren't there to guide them toward humility. They're there to sanctify their power. And
kind of like a cult. Kind of like the control arm of, I don't know, like the Saturn cult within the church.
Call it God's will. In 1982, the Vatican was caught in a $1.3 billion criminal scandal. Robert Calvi, God's banker, was the primary middleman for the Vatican's secret money, the mafia, and P2, a clandestine shadow government that had infiltrated Italy's elite.
Propaganda too.
As his bank collapsed, Calvi signaled he'd expose the entire network if he wasn't saved. He was found hanging from a London bridge with bricks in his pockets. His widow later revealed he was in London to negotiate a deal where Opus Dei would take on the Vatican Bank's debts. He was killed before the deal was done. That same year, John Paul II gave Opus Dei what no organization had.
Oddly enough, there's a very good chance that regular old John Paul, who lasted about 33 days, you'd say what you want about that, was killed with cyanide. What kind of gas was this Polish dude, John Paul II, known for selling?
Had received in 2,000 years a personal prelature, a shadow diocese accountable to no bishop. 55 of 56 Spanish bishops, those who knew Opus Dei best, opposed it. The Pope overruled them all. The Vatican denied everything. In 1983, John Paul II gutted the devil's advocate. With that office gone, witnesses who opposed Escriva weren't called. It was made.
Yeah, when you mentioned the Jesuits as if they're somehow legitimate. Yeah, no, exactly, Edward. Definitely not a positive on the whole crypto J Jesuit thing.
A saint in just 27 years, the fastest in modern history. They secured a prelature that placed them above church law, and a saint who placed their founder beyond question. The shepherds they harvested are now sitting on the Supreme Court, writing the policy agenda and running the machinery of the federal government through initiatives like Project 2025. In Part 12H, we follow the money and show you what the Vatican was so desperate to hide. Hit follow and share.
All right, hold on. Karen, I read what you said there. Let's see. I think I pulled this up. Maybe I didn't. I didn't do that. Yeah, that's the one that you showed me, right? That's the same one we just looked at. All right, hold on. We went over this, but this is pretty important. Let me just...
When you hear people say
the Dear Yasin massacre, remember, we know. I think it's important for us to recap this real quick.
That history didn't start on October 7th, this is exactly what they mean. The date was April 9th, 1948, just weeks before Israel declared independence. The peaceful Palestinian village of Deir Yassin had signed a peace pact with their neighboring Israeli settlers, and the Palestinian villagers took that agreement seriously and actively refused to allow Arab militias into their village, choosing instead to remain completely neutral in hopes of maintaining peaceful relations.
And how are they rewarded, everybody? Don't ever disarm yourself and don't ever turn away your protection. Not around these guys. Not around these child-killing banking cults types. What the hell?
Now the Israeli settlers knew the village had no armed protection, and rather than honoring that peace pact like the Palestinians did, they saw this as an opportunity. Zionist militias launched a savage attack on the village. They slaughtered hundreds of civilians, mostly women, children, and the elderly, and they did it in their own homes. Reports from the time document acts of sexual violence.
Pay attention to this because it's coming to America, kids. Everybody who's ass-kissing, sympathizing, and preaching the whole evangelical Christian Zionist bullshit, they'll be the first to be attacked.
Violence and mutilation. After the killings, survivors were loaded onto trucks and paraded through the streets of Jerusalem. They were publicly humiliated and mocked for the crime of trusting the Israeli settlers. Word of the massacre spread rapidly.
For the crime of trusting the devil for the crime of trusting people who have absolutely no scruples, who have no sense of dignity, honor, nobility, integrity, all of the things. They don't value these things. And they're not trying to put on a show for anybody to make you think that they actually have some sort of discernible virtue whatsoever.
The horror of what happened caused widespread panic throughout Palestine. Villages began to flee en masse, terrified they would suffer the same fate. The Israeli
Was that like 750,000 people or so?
settlers had discovered that terror was an extremely effective weapon, and they used that fear to dramatically accelerate the Nakba. There are many stories just like this, but why didn't we hear about them in school? I will tell you why in my next video.
We are living in soil
This guy is weird.
green, y'all. Everything tastes like MSG and Cisco. Nothing tastes like fries or beef or chicken. Everything now got sugar, red 40, titanium 85 in it. You can't get nothing made with real ingredients anymore. And when they do put real ingredients in it, they sell it back to you, as the natural or the simply or the real version. Nigga, this is the way it was made the first time. You the one started putting all this benzopot and palm somate and sorbate and sodium bicarbonate and shit in there. Nigga, I want some cheese. Why the fuck do I need 80 ingredients for cheese? It should be milk and thyme. That's all I need for cheese. The fuck is sorghum?
They just need milk and thyme.
And whey protein and soy isolate. What the fuck is an isolate? You running an ISO in my food? In my food? All the meat be looking confusing now. Chicken wings be that damn big. What the fuck is that? This be the chicken wing right here. And that be the chicken thigh. Don't make no damn sense. Food be cooking extra long and extra fast at the same time. We probably healthier eating Plankton's meal from SpongeBob. Everything you eat don't even make sense. How does fish have breasts? I'm eating fish breast sandwich. A fish breast sandwich. This is not making any sense. McDonald's is serving human back patties. That quarter pounder ain't beef. How the hell are they selling 18 billion pounds of meat every month and ain't got damn many cows on the planet? We living in Soylent Green. The food is made out of people. Cereal got protein in it. Where the fuck are they finding this protein from? I seen a Pop-Tart with protein in it. Is niggas nutting in the Pop-Tarts? We are living in Soylent Green.
Last part. Niggas nutting in the Pop-Tarts. Oh, good times. Good times. Stream's down. Let's see. Good evening. Sorry for caps. No big deal. Hey, thanks for the mod status. Now I gotta see the mod options. I've never seen them before on here. Yeah, that's cool, man. Stream down here. That's yeah. Sorry. Let's see. Did they take me down before? Looks like it's going. Maybe it's back. I got 2 people watching. I guess one of them might be me. I don't know. 255 to 350. We got a little ways to go. Over there. I don't have any competition tonight, really.
Gay people fact of the day. The transgender flag is interesting because most Americans were already familiar with the pride flag, but then they start seeing this trans flag.
Which I believe they inverted the array, like the order of the colors of the rainbow. And I omitted one of the colors.
Everywhere, and the colors look suspiciously similar to the colors for baby boys and baby girls, and then the people flying it are also trying to spend suspicious amounts of time with baby boys and baby girls, kids in general.
How could you let that happen to your kids? Yeah, that guy looks completely emotionally stable. Who is wearing makeup and looks like something out of a kabuki theater freaking... What was that? Samurai detective trauma film, whatever the hell. And Divine from John Waters. Then yeah, nothing says serial killer and John Wayne Gacy like that.
Pretty soon people were like, hey man, I think this flag's kind of weird. I think it's referencing babies. And then trans people were like, hey, it's me, a trans person. This has nothing to do with babies. Why are you trying to bring babies into it? What are you, some kind of groomer? I'm a trans person. As it would turn out, the transgender flag you see everywhere was designed in 1999 by a biological male named Monica Helms, born Robert Hogg.
In Phoenix, Arizona. We don't lay claim to that. I'm not from Arizona originally anyway, but still.
First appeared in a pride parade in 2000, and Mr. Monica has actually been very clear about what the colors mean. Blue represents baby boys, pink represents baby girls, white
Right, because that's what they want to fuck.
stands for people who are transitioning or who claim no gender at all. So from the very first day the flag existed, its creator framed the entire ideology around children. This was not
Pedophilia.
at all subtle. Mr. Monica chose those
Oh, and maybe food choices too, because they like to eat them.
colors with intentions in mind, and those intentions were of course to signal that the focus of the movement would include younger generations of children. This mirrors too how the original rainbow flag was created. Gilbert Baker chose the rainbow in 1978 in part because rainbows naturally appeal to children. Who could argue against bright colors? What do you
Naturally appeal to children. How many, when you were little, before all this bullshit, you probably drew rainbows on coloring and shit like that in school. You know? And they had to take something like that and ruin it and pervert it. And anybody who makes any claim or states anything about this isn't about children, it's exactly about children. It's about grooming and it's about pedophilia. 100%. 100%. And if I stand with gay people and I think they should have more rights, so I'm going to hang this flag in June for them because that's what I'm going to do. And it's politically signaling my virtues. Your virtue is that you support people who are child predators. Is that your virtue? That's a pretty strange virtue. I don't know if many people would actually consider that to be virtuous.
You hate fun? So both flags were designed with kids in mind from the beginning, and Mr. Monica was actually inspired to create the
Mr. Monica
flag after a conversation with the creator of the bisexual pride flag, which similarly blends baby blue and pink to represent this like confused, muddled middle zone. And the language around the movement was crafted the same way, like the term cisgender, that did not come from biology, that did not come from medicine, that comes from Latin, because cis means on this side of, trans means on the other side of. These were ordinary geographic words used in old European places like, Transylvania means beyond the forest. So activists take these neutral Latin prefixes and turn them into ideological weapons, so now normal people who accept their biological sex are now cisgender, as if accepting reality is just like one subjective choice one can make among many. It's really smart because when you have this linguistic trick, all of a sudden the abnormal appears equal to normal, and if you have any dissent, well, it sounds like you're just ignorant, sounds like you're just bigoted. So yes, the entire project was built upon calculated subversion rather than just straight up like, hello, can we have some rights please? The use of baby colors in the flag, the language reframing normality as pathological and the pathological as normal, it's all the same. And these tactics were chosen because they work. They work on children.
Oy vey's shows it, by the way. And somebody said this, and this is true. Actually, there's even more to it when it comes to the Harvey Milk discussing shit. Don't forget that when the LGBT started, they used to have NAMBLA on the team. You know what NAMBLA stands for, kids? North American Man-Boy Love Association. Yes, fucking little boys. That is correct. That's allowed to be a thing without people, I don't know, what they call that, going scorched earth on any little group of these people that would crop up. Like, why didn't that happen? Why did an organization called NAMBLA get to exist without mankind, the people, the civilians, the population, eradicating them with intent and force? Why didn't that happen, kids? Hey, look, Frank liked this one. What do you know?
And they work on the culture that raises them. So the LGBT movement was never actually just about, consenting adults in our own private lives. It was about reshaping how the next generation understands sex and reality so they can be more easily groomed and indoctrinated into the unnatural and the irrational and the just kind of crazy. That seems to square
Just
pretty
kind of crazy. Yes, perversions. Who brings the perversions? The cults. Who's the cults? Well, sometimes they go by Judaism, sometimes they go by Saturn cult, sometimes they go by serpent wolf cult. Whatever they happen to go by, it's all the same. It's all the same cult. It's preying upon sibling. It all, even the fertility cults that they came up with, the practices around. It was always the priestcraft that was making them wickedly evil, and about blood sacrifice and immolation of children. The Molech sacrifice was the immolation or the burning of a child, and they would eat them too. That was the priest saying that that's what would please the gods. When you look at the Ugaritic text for Baal, as I write in my book, it doesn't really mention any of that or how to, honor the gods. That was all filled in by those who infiltrate the cultures with their moon cult and assume the positions and roles of authority as the mediator or the middleman. They're always the middleman, the broker between either you and God or you and finance or you and anything else. The cult tells you how to please the gods, as if they got through parlor tricks and potions and pharmakia and bullshit, which appears to wow and baffle them with babbling bullshit. They must be special. Look at these priests doing these wonderful, weird things with their sorcery of chemistry. Listen to them. Oh, the gods are upset with us because we didn't do this or that correctly, huh? Okay, well, we need to sacrifice our children now, so says they. So it's a corruption of whatever the hell is there. As I said before, throughout history, they don't care what you call what do you want to call them? The components of whatever religion is popularized in the society. They will co-opt it, infiltrate, co-opt it, and then over time alter the way it's practiced to conform to their cult activities and get people doing the very thing that their cult does, not giving them any kind of like status in that cult, because those are the deceived ones that follow unwittingly their demonology, whatever, right? Because they didn't even have a god at one point, but they'll tell you that they do. Because they've been demonists from the beginning, doing conjuring and black magic and sacrifice and all kinds of sick shit. So the more they can incorporate that and the perversions and all that to destroy the mind, to prey upon the innocent, all the things that they would consider coming from a good source, they have to invert and corrupt and make ugly and disgusting. And this is what they do wherever they go. And when you do that, it upsets nature. And when nature's upset, chaos ensues. People are very vulnerable and susceptible to more influence or encouragement to do things under the promise that it'll, result in something good or something beneficial. And they'll just continue to keep hammering this way. And the best thing to tell people is that they're being oppressed and they need to fight against whatever the power structure is that's already in place. And when they do that, they make room for the infiltrators to then take control and seize and alter the way the power structure. So therefore, they'll be in control of even more of their lives, not just the spiritual or whatever you want to call that cultish shit. Then it's the leadership, the finances, and if their goal is to destroy a society, they're not going to be making decisions that are beneficial to them. They're going to suck it dry, sap it of its resources, sap it of its wealth, and then leave it to die and starve it to death. And then they move on and they find wherever we are again, where we've built a different civilization, and they'll come and they'll infiltrate that, just like the freaking termites, parasites, whatever you want to call them. And the cycle begins again. Over time and influence and the whispering in the ears, they start to alter what is uncorrupt, like say sun religion or sun veneration with a monotheistic all father god or monad, well then they start saying, and they influence and they become the priests of that faith, only to then start changing things once they gain some sort of positions to where animal sacrifices are okay now. That's all right. A little bit of blood for the fertility. Human child sacrifices are okay now. A little bit. Why you gotta be having babies with men and women having this weird sex stuff? Why don't you cut off your genitals and throw them into a fire? Right? You don't want to be oppressed, do you? It just goes on, and it's like just because times are more modern looking doesn't mean that the mindset of people is any more mature or developed, because they continue to get away with the same bullshit over and over again.
Well, with what we have seen. Okay, goodbye. Gay people.
Okay, goodbye. Did I follow this idiot? Fine.
And I saw these 6 children sitting here.
This is really creepy. You ready for something really, really creepy? Are you? This is really creepy. I gotta get into the elliptical soon. I took that energy drink. I'm starting to lose my shit. Oh, my daughter made this. So I wear it. It's a little, like, rubber bands. It's kind of cool. All right, let me go to scene 7. I think that might be good. I'll look at it again. Yeah, Sandy Hook, the parts they want forgotten. This guy either is a crisis actor or a pedophile or both. And it says, constantly clasping his fingers and having several child's toys immediately available is not normal behavior. And then someone says, it was all staged. No one died at Sandy Hook. Yeah, but that's a separate that's a separate discussion from what the fuck this guy is saying. And if you ignore all this, it's like, hey, we're mocking you right to your face, and you're still not getting what this is about, or you're still not getting what these people, them talking from their perspective, are about.
What was going through your mind?
I just couldn't believe it. And I said to them, come on upstairs. Come on to my house. And they came in.
What is this?
I could not correct them.
I could not correct them. What the fuck does that mean? I tried. I tried. I even peeled their faces off and wore them. I even cut their faces off and wore them, but all they did is scream. I couldn't correct them.
Toys to play with. Her face was frozen in fear. She was so pretty.
This guy's having a sexual experience right now talking about this.
I wish I could have. There's blood.
There's blood. Who caused that? Are you saying from going away from Sandy Hook, or and as an escapee of the incident, or are you saying when she had the misfortune of running into you that there was blood? This guy is so messed up, and he's doing the happy merchant Jew fucking hand rubbing pretty intensely.
Blood in her mouth.
Intensively.
And she She knew.
Explain to me what that moment was like.
I can't go back to the school. I gave you their numbers. She was such an attractive woman, but her
It's a girl, little girl.
face was frozen in fear. She looked like stone. There was blood coming from her mouth, and then she was on the ground. I had no idea why these children were there. I looked down and I saw these 6 kids, and they seemed fine. So I took them into my house, and they came into my house.
6 children. This is all very numerical, probably too. Numerological.
And there were 2 boys and I think 4 girls. They were very they were very upset. And the 2 boys just start talking. I had no idea what happened, and I gave one to each of the children. It was my grandchildren, taught me how to be with these children.
But it
Taught them how to be with these children. What is that? What you understand the verbiage here and what that means in other? I'm sure it means that again. People make assumptions, presumptions, and they decide through the context that it means one thing when it doesn't. This is diabolical language because that's exactly how they operate. That's exactly how terms of services operate too. Is you're assuming it has a limited scope, or that it most certainly couldn't be this. That's evil and diabolical and wrong. Taught how to be with these children, huh? What is this guy actually confessing to here?
just doesn't even seem real. I mean,
3:30 was the time given to us, but
it doesn't even seem real.
I can't believe this. And
Really? I mean, it just does not seem like it's even possible. I can't fathom. It just doesn't even seem real. It's like
3:30 was the time given to us.
should I be
3:30, 3:3.
pinched to see if it really is real? And
beyond
If it's really Israel, yeah. I had to get pinched to see if it was really Israel.
belief.
3:30 was the time given to us, but
you know, you read about this everywhere else.
I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't accept it.
The school, Sandy Hook Elementary,
And no sound.
And I saw these.
It's just weird on many levels. Very public ritual. And a Jewish woman, a Puerto Rican woman, an African woman, a white woman who adopted Haitians, and one wretched white male just collectively put the final nail in America's coffin 4 days before its 250th birthday. It's been put to rest 160 years ago, but I get what you're saying. Say it with me. Diversity is our greatest strength. No. So basically, we don't have a country. The clergy plan, the genocide of all white people. The future man will be mixed race. As for, it's just not them, right? As for Pan-European, I wish to see Eurasian Negroid mixture with great variation in personality types. The Jews shall take the leading position, since Providence, God, has given Europe a spiritually superior race of nobility called the Jews. Really? Really? God gave us the Jews? I don't like that God very much. I think that God sucks ass. I think that God should be drawn and quartered and do the thing like, you know, the handkerchief gag that the magicians do, except that with his intestines. The Jews. The white races of Europe should be destroyed and replaced with a race of Eurasian Negroids who can be easily controlled by the ruling elite. Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi, Count Dracula. Oh look, yeah, that represents me. Why are women allowed to be judges to begin with? Thank you. Why are women allowed to be That's a woman, huh? You sure? We sure about that last one? I mean, maybe the last two. Votes for women. Did I save my country for this? Exactly. Early 20th century cartoon implying that women are not worthy of power. They're not. They're not worthy. Worthy or made for? No, because you can. It's emotional. Virtues, misplaced nurturing instincts turned into a weapon. No. How it feels being a multi-generational American watching foreigners open the door for the country for hordes of 70 IQ mongrels who hate us. The United States died today. All 8 billion people on the planet are Americans if they can make it here. There are no peaceful options left. You must defend what you love. No one else will. Millions of European brothers marched to their deaths to defend their lands, only for their descendants' voices to be drowned out by millions of foreigners. You still believe the good guys won? No, I haven't in a long time, bro. And by the way, those people, I'm not sure how far back in history you're going, but if it was after William of Orange, even in Europe, you weren't fighting for anything that was in your interest. You were fighting in the interest of the Jewish banking cult. I find it so bizarre that's why they go, oh, it's British imperialism. I'm like, you sure it's British, or you think it's just geographical, or is it banking imperialism? And by banking, who are those people again? What are they? What cult are they from? The supremacy cult of Judaism these days? That's what they call themselves. I find it so, the thing that they fabricated and made up 2,000 years ago. So it's not an ethnicity. It's just a group of fucking people who may have close ethnic similarities from wherever shithole that they crawled out of, whether it's Ashkenazi Turk or whatever, or whatever the hell a Sephardic is. Maybe there's groups of them that have similarities, but there's also very many Arab looking attributes to a great deal of them, and then they all have the option to just claim it. Yeah, see, it's the only ethnicity you can claim because you chose to, or you can become. They treat it like a religion when it's convenient. They treat it like an ethnicity when it's convenient, and somewhere in the middle, you say anything about it, you're an anti-Semite. How about that? I find it so bizarre that liberals are so eager to turn the USA into a third world shithole, just like most of the rest of the world. Do they really hate having a nice country where you have a reasonably good life? Let's just have twice there. Oh, there's a Jew in the back. Wait, with the star on his head. Our founding fathers would have started a second revolution by now. Birthright citizenship means the children of illegal aliens can vote to tax your children and seize their inheritance. Oh, you mean like the protocols of Lord Elders of Zion? Oh, yeah. Wait. So the Supreme Court basically ruled that anyone from anywhere who came into the country by any means. Hey, this is how Trump got rid of the immigration problem. By recategorizing and redefining it. Congratulations, they're going to get guns now. They already are becoming police officers or law enforcers and they hate you. They hate you, and they're going to fill up your military along with the merger IDF fuckers. Not to mention the fact that the whole thing is controlled by the same demonic banking cult of Jews in the first place. How do you think the next couple of years are going to roll out for you? And guess who's going to be prioritized for? Just as always, government assistance, meaning you're paying for them and you're paying for them to become violent and hostile and rapey against you. And also they'll have all kinds of Second Amendment rights that you won't, because they want you to be killed by them. So, can have a baby in the United States and that baby is automatically an American citizen. What are we even doing here? This is absolutely insane. A few months ago, the New York Times wrote a story about a pregnant woman, Honduran woman who was deported from the country and then traveled 1,700 miles to commit felony re-entry so her child could be born in America. The Supreme Court just ruled that her baby is as much of a citizen as you and I. Right, so American citizens, if you take the bait here and you start plugging these pieces of shit as deserving as they would be, they wouldn't be doing this if the system itself wasn't supporting their abuse and entitlement and empowering them to have the upper hand and more rights in your country than you. So rather than waste your time doing things that will look really bad in the optics of the public, no matter how much they deserve a good ass kicking, or I don't know, an example being made of them, you have to go to the source of the problem and focus on that. Otherwise, you're not hitting the respawner, and the respawner will keep on respawning. And that entity or that element that we're missing, who is the source of it, will only send out the hired guns, the military, the military lockdown, the martial law, the freaking police forces, the FBI, the social media, not what do you call it, the Bolsheviks that are already scrubbing your information to fuck with you and try to put you in jail. They're all going to be working against you to eliminate you and remove you from your life. If you go after the very thing that they're baiting you to go after them, to actually cause what they would love to see, an ethnic civil war. Because they're prepared for that, and that's what their plan is, so that you fall into that trap, you do the thing, and then they respond. They created the problem, they're anticipating and manipulating your reaction, and they're already armed and ready to go with their Palantir drone solution. And it's not going to be pretty for the ethnic white person, ethnic European, who lives in America if you take the bait. Rather, go super sleuth, go dark, zero comms, and fucking do what you need to do to the source of the problem. Make them scared. Bring it to their front. Bring it to their doorsteps. Now that SCOTUS has opened the floodgates for foreign invaders to flock across. Flock is a funny word to use there since cameras are border. And guess what? That's what all that surveillance is for. Not only do they also know that they're bringing in a bunch of rapists and murderers, and they want to be able to keep them, utilize them and herd them like the good little sheep cattle that they are, to only be violent to ethnic European people, which they are incentivized to do. Which is funny because that's also the source of their so-called, government assistance and income. But then, yes, again, you'll realize just how fake money is when they don't need us anymore to continue to empower these pieces of shit. Just right up until the point that they're no longer useful because the job's done, we're all gone, and then they're going to go after them and eat them alive too. But in the meantime, these idiots are actually, it's like shitting in their own cornflakes, right? They're getting something from us, and yet they're the most hostile against us because they're stupid. You want to aim your aggressions at something. Aim them at the very thing that dragged you out of your shithole country, put you here, and told you to kill for them and rape for them. Go after that thing. Go after that thing, and then we can work on how about this? The people who are actually Americans here need to freaking do something. But my point is, you don't do the thing that they're expecting you to do, because it's already set to go very badly for you if you do. They're not anticipating taking it to their fucking front door. And if they are, because of the flock and all the cameras and all that shit, well then, sooner better than later. Speak truth, even if it kills you. Well, it might. And speaking it is a little bit of a meaningless gesture if that's all you're doing is talk, right? If all you accomplish is rhetoric, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, all the rhetoric in the world isn't going to change something, but you know what might? Making them scared of you. The era of tolerance has concluded. Yes, and this is them showing you imagery to try to inspire because it's capped. It's capped. To inspire the very thing that they want to see happen, because that's what they're prepared for, and this is the trap. You can take this and use it as, okay, well, if you're smart enough to understand, it's not the symptom that you need to worry about, it's the root cause. And if you don't want the symptoms to continue, then you take care of what's funneling it into your country, and now made it official. Why do fat old fucking women control your destiny in this country anyway? When was that allowed? Why are they in the police force? Because they're bitches and they're brutal and they'll go for the gun first and they'll harm you. or kill you because they're fucking weak and pathetic and can't handle things. Yeah. I think we went through that. We'll go through more of this tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. I don't have to use my AK. Isn't that what Ice Cube used to sing? But other than that, let's see what the chat says, and then we'll call it. We got my daughter's next back that way, and I can hear her. So Macoma's in the house. What's up? Best friend of trees. That is 100% a crisis actor. Yep. I wish the language. Oh wait, hold on. Make sure I get. Think of them use those cyanide salesmen. One Science Direct, but there were tons in the search results. I want some cheese, milk, and time. I wish language had easier ways to indicate that a name is merely what someone goes by. Jesuit implies they're associated with Jesus, which they are not, unless you think of it as the antithesis, right? Should I call them self-styled Jesuits? Right? Right, the Society of Jesus. Well, again, it depends on who's telling the story of Jesus, I guess. If you're looking at the Hellenistic oy veys, well, not even Hellenistic, but the Greek writing oy veys that Ammon is reading from, then Jesus ends up becoming a Laestes, which is a child trafficker and pedophile, a pirate. Nagurski says, the cherry gummy bears taste like early 1980s Jello gelatin. Smile every time. That's the Black Forest ones. They're pretty decent. Edward Snowman, so many Jesuses in a row, never defying the Father Son. NAMBLA stands for the Ginsburgs. Like an Allen. Edward Snowman says, gotta disband the Great Broth L. The Pride Coalition, starting with L. It's an alliance devised in hell. Very nice with the poetry today. If the definition of God is anyone that holds your life in its hands, there be gods everywhere, Dan. All right, well, that's the funny thing, is that even when they talk about gods, and like, oh, these are polytheists and pagans and blah, blah, blah. It's because their definition of what they're calling and insinuating and assigning meaning to a venerated hero, deified, meaning so therefore it's remembered beyond its ages, right? That's one way to remember the stories that have meaning and point to them. And then someone else comes along, and it's always the outsider that's trying to it's always the outsider who doesn't belong in your society, who didn't live in your society, doesn't know your colloquialisms, that doesn't know anything about your culture or your ways, and comes from a place of cynicism, and already obviously thinks that their way is superior and better in the first place, who's making a determination about what it is that you believe, practice, and understand. And it's always going to be a condescending, critical filter that they put everything through. And then they're going to assign things that aren't accurate, fair, or true, only to therefore, especially everything is a threat to somebody who knows that what they're doing is incorrect, or what they're doing is deceitful, or it's about power and control. A church is never going to tell you about how good another culture is that didn't believe in their bullshit about their religion. They're always going to play it down and demonize it so that you feel more afraid of anything that's not the church, even though and that gives the church more license to do horrible things to you, but it's the lesser of two evils, you see, because the last thing you want is those darn pagans and polytheists to be running the thing. It's when we have to start our own religion, I am claiming Sun Goddess Nagurski. You know what? That's funny you should say that, because I think we need to have a what did I call it before? We need to bring back. I named it something before. I had a name. Son of Ralda, maybe? Sonna, Ralda, Wralda. That would work, or something of that nature. I mean, it's already the template's already there. You can just augment the names a little bit to make it more sounding like a. But the core is there, because there's only one way to look at things, and that's the benevolent creator, and with a symbol of the sun, because what other thing is as prominent as that gives life to things? And without it, we'd be fucked. Like, why not make that something that you would venerate and associate with something that's higher than you, that has given you this gift so that life on Earth could take place, or life on this realm, whatever. So why not? We need to incorporate the Orlinda aspects, which I think the Frisians are just more Scythian Gothic type, who try to remain pure for longer than other people did. And yeah, let's look back into history before the cult corrupted us, and what did we think about back then, and how did we perceive life, and what did we value? Family, monotheism, marriage, family life, justice, reason. They called in that telling that Waddell laid out for us. The cult called us in a critical way, in a mocking tone, the reign of reason, as if being unreasonable and chaotic and insane and perverse was just a whole lot more fun, even though it's self-destructive and can only lead into mistreatment of everybody. Do what thou wilt, as long as you can assert your dominance and will over others. That's why and that's the reason to put it upon children or the weak, because if they're not brave enough, they're not tough enough, they're not warriors enough to be fucking around with people who can defend themselves, they go around you and attack your children, or they get the people against you, take you out of the equation one way or the other, and then your children are fair game for them. Other way, it's bad. So yeah, let's make that ancient religion. Let's bring it back. It's only $19.95 to join, everybody. A month. Operators are standing by. We have to start. Yeah, okay. Keeping me in the dark and feed me bullshit, Mushroom God. Yeah, right. Karen says that is 100% a crisis actor. Best friend of trees, Sinigursky. You got it. I'm taking notes. What the fuck? Says Soma Coma. I'd like to see this crisis actor's teeth Floyd out of his skull. Yeah. Nobody ever curb stomped him, though. That'd have been cool to see. What's up? I said, blaming his children for seducing him. Very Talmudic, exactly. With the alpha for the Talmudic, that's fun. Creepy and weird. Fly, not Floyd. Bingoed. The winner. Oh, Ed's the winner, sorry. Count Caecula, Mudicus the Third. Said Soma. Made up some fruity scheme to make him feel better for being a mutt. And Soma's Coma says, hope you're all right, gal. And where Soma says, God gave his children the Jews by allowing them to be discovered by the Jews. Edward Soma says, look what you made me do. Yeah. That's always. Oh, man. I will never forgive them for making us bomb their children. The shithole they crawled out of was somewhere around the Black Sea at one point, at least. Yeah, I'm gonna put it earlier in Turkey. which kind of lines up with the whole Ashkenazi Turk thing too. Somacoma, KLR 650, nice bike. Edward Snowman says, now that the Jews are the original discoverers, I think that must have been what that actor guy was leaning up against in that still frame they were looking at. Now that the Jews are the original discoverers, God's children, and have claimed God's children, the Jews can't help themselves. They have no choice but to take what's theirs. God gave his. You ain't the first one to think that. Kind of like the sacrificial pipeline of the royals. Love it, man. I ain't alone, brother. Let's see. Do okay, how are you? You guys talk to each other. You guys talk to each other. It's just a bean, lady. Don't fear the bean. And by no choice, I mean a homicidal treasure dragon at home holding one's children hostage. I like the treasure dragon thing. They have no choice but to take what they can. Speaking of treasure dragons, man, they're going right down into the ocean. They're going to get everything. Those little fuckers. They're turning toxins into precious metals. We got to stop this, but also steal it. See, they can't have somebody else harvesting resources. They're even jealous of the fucking sponge. No, we must have control of all resources. That sponge is anti-Semitic. Have a phenomenal day and see you soon. This is Karen. Let's redo the Nicene Creed. Which one? First or second? One hated the other one. I don't know if you knew that. That's 1990. Yeah, there you go. 1,995 a month. Well, we're not Scientology yet, so we gotta go. We gotta work our way up there. Now it's just 19 with a decimal, then 95. We gotta. These are the higher tiers. Like if you want to hang out with Travolta, then you're gonna pay the 1995, 1,995 a month. Let's undo the Library of Edward Snowman says, let's undo the Library of Alexandria, snatch and scamper. Let's burn the fan fiction of the Mary Jew. I like that. And you know what else? Let's crack some skulls with butts of rifles as we kick open and bust out everything in the Vatican, dragging out the old fucks and putting them in the fucking square, and then find out what's in those vaults. And of course, make sure that those are good people who discover and pull that out, so that it's not just hidden away again, burned or pissed on and used as toilet paper. Ervat's in the house. Took you long enough. 2 hours and 47 minutes in. You're not getting your notifications, bro. Oh, obviously a typo for the math of mine. Zadum Spremni Croatia. Zadum Spremni Croatia. Love Croatia 88. All right. Hold on. I gotta see something real quick. Wait, I'm looking at it right now. Never mind. I'm just gonna throw this in one last time. I'm gonna call it, and then I'm gonna start off again tomorrow. You know how long it took me to do this? I made this. Like, I did all the outlining and those little, halo glows and all that stuff. That was all me. There was no assistance from ChatGPT this time. I mean, I let them mess with it and see what they came up with, but I didn't like any of them, so I went with mine and just made the colors pop a little bit more. You use these things once, but I still put a lot of thought into them, like how I'm gonna get them the way I want them. It's already pinned. Why did I do that? It's already pinned. It's a stupid ass Daniel. There you go. Support the show so it stays. Otherwise, I gotta do other things. And yeah, there's also this thing. Well, I gotta do it like this. Take it from right there. Anybody out there wants to do that, you should totally do that too. Here you go. Paste. Bam. That's the Patreon. It's got a little bit different of a name. And there you go. Paste. Oh, and by the way, guys, just because look, cats and dogs shaking their rumps, doing the Humpty dance. Yeah, support the show, freeloaders. Karen said. Those are her words, not mine. So, you know that this is actually, I got to take that off. Solstice 2 is actually ended, but Ballbusters for 25% off the Dr. Glidden membership. You'll see him here Wednesday, 2 days from now. But before all that, if nothing else could be conveyed from anything that I'm saying, is that you definitely want to benefit from having everything that your body needs, that the fucking demonic cult has taken out of our food or poisoned to the point where you can't absorb it anyway. Either you're fucked up in gastrointestinally, or there's other things happening where the food doesn't have it, or the poisons that they dump in the food kind of negate the whole, benefit of it. Get your 90 essential nutrients and make sure you have the full Vicemic blend, and take the 1/8 of a teaspoon that you're supposed to take daily, and do that for at least 3 months, along with all the other 90 essential nutrients, and get extra copper, because that's one of the hardest things to keep in your body because of all the shit that comes out of it. Oh yeah. Gee, thanks for reminding me, dude. Thanks for reminding me. We didn't do this yet. Toasty! There we go. Toasty! One more. All right. That's the best. The midday video is well worth the Patreon membership, just saying. Yeah. Yep. And that was fair, kind of. She still got mad, though. She's a cunt. And she's very self-centered and very egotistical. All right, so anyway, the AzureStandard.com. She thinks she's pretty, but she's not. She's not. Okay, Azure Standard, click this. Use code BB5. Get your 90 essential nutrients, whole food multivitamin, Alaskan cod liver oil, full Vicemic blend, and IP6 Supreme. Also recommend the core copper and maybe the whole food vitamin C. It's right there. And I'll explain again. This is like the Tangy Tangerine, but half the price, less than half the price. And you're going to get additional 5% off here when you use code BB5. Alaskan cod liver oil is your essential fatty acids. I'm going to show you right now the core copper. Beef liver is awesome too. And I have these two here. One here and here. I got those two as well. The next thing on the list, though, and the most important, is the full Vicemic blend. This is a 3-month and 10-day supply, so you only have to get it every 3 months. So you can divide that 50 by 3. Yeah? All right. And you're going to get another 5% off when you get it, because you're going to use code BB5 at checkout, and you're also going to earn Azure bucks, like money, little money that you can apply to your next order. And then the IP6 Supreme and inositol. 46. Oh yeah, it's cheaper. Yeah, it's way cheaper. It's 10% off. So it's 20% off the normal price on the Azure Living Well site right now. Plus you're getting another 5% off when you use code BB5. So yeah, that's cool. I should stock up. All right. And I think you know that it's nominal what I get from doing this, but it's important that we're all fucking healthier and we understand health. And when you see the results, you're going to understand that what I've been saying and what Dr. Glidden's been saying, you can say yeah, and I believe it, but when you actually see it happen in yourself, doesn't that make a world of difference? Doesn't that help you break free from the spell of even though I'm sure you're telling the truth, or I'm sure you got some go there? Wouldn't this rewire the whole way you think about health in the first place when you see the benefits of doing this and maintaining consistency in it? And from there, from that positive state of revitalized health, you not having to go to these demon doctors, you not being dependent on their pharmaceuticals, their prescriptions, their therapies, their bullshit diagnoses, and their limited scope of outcomes that they'll lay before you as what you can expect, none of that's part of your world anymore. You're not beholden to their cult beliefs of health. You've been freed. There is no female species, if we've learned anything. Tough Eddie. Thanks, Dan. Good on you. And it says, you were totally fair, and I'm one of the... Okay, you guys talking to each other. Not that I know how to sort this mess out. I guess what? Guess that depends on... Guess that depends. Have you met a lot of them? Boy, scared me. All right, you guys talk to each other. You guys have a wonderful night. And when I click this, you guys won't be able to talk to each other anymore, so I'm just kind of letting you guys do your thing. Thank goodness you are gay, says Karen. What? What? I gotta stop reading these. You guys are talking to each other. All right.